This is Midrash Tanchuma Parshat Chukat, entitled "The Red Heifer," from perplexing to prophetic. And of course, what we're talking about here is the famous chok, the law that's impossible to understand, about the red heifer. The ashes from the red heifer took someone who was impure and made them pure. Interestingly enough, those who worked on making those ashes, they themselves who were pure now became impure. But let's get back to the essential question: how can purity emerge from impurity? That is the conundrum of the red heifer, of the paraduma. So the Midrash, in its classical creative approach, tries to say that there really is no conundrum here. It's very much easy to understand. If you look at the history of the world, if you look at the great leaders in Tanakh, you see that many times purity emerged from impurity. What do I mean? Let me read you what the Midrash says. Mi tein tahar mi tameh. Who can make something pure from something impure? Lo echad. Isn't it the one and only God who can do such a thing? What do I mean? Kegon Avram mi terach. Didn't Avram, the one who discovered monotheism, who spent his life teaching and promoting that there's one God, didn't he emerge from Terach? His father was owner of a cash and carry idol shop. How is that possible? The next example given is Chizkiyahu me Achaz. Now, who was Achaz? Achaz was such an evil king. He practiced a very, very twisted form of idol worship called Molach, where one opinion is you actually took your child and passed him through fire. That's the lenient opinion. The other opinion is you actually burnt your child to death through fire as a way of worshiping this god called Molach. That was Achav. And actually, by the way, Achav's father was righteous. His name was Yotam. Another thing about Achaz is that he was once in Damascus and he saw this altar for idolatry. He was so impressed with the architecture that he had a duplicate put into the Beit HaMikdash, into the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. Can you imagine how wicked he was? Yet from him emerged Chizkiyahu. Chizkiyahu, the Chazal say, could have been the Mashiach. That's how great he was. The only reason he wasn't Mashiach is because it was a great miracle in his time when the king of Assyria had surrounded Jerusalem, was ready to attack, and at night, miraculously, all his troops dropped dead, and the Melech Ashur went back to his kingdom in defeat and humiliation. And at that time, God would have expected Chizkiyahu to spontaneously sing words of praise, a song of praise, but he did not. Of course, this may be a very high level and a high expectation, but that is the reason given why Chizkiyahu was not Mashiach. But you see how righteous he was, yet he emerged from Achaz. The next example given in the Midrash is Yoshiyahu came from Ammon. So Yoshiyahu, we know that the story is he found the Sefer Torah and it was read to him, and he was so astounded, he never heard of it. It's very hard to believe how far the Jews might have been, or at least large swaths of the Jews would have been from Torah and from Torah teaching, that a king had never seen a Sefer Torah in his life. And he finally saw one, and it was read to him. He was astounded, and he went and he changed all of his society and made them all study Torah, and was very successful at that. And he emerged from a very evil king, and Ammon. Now this list that the Midrash gives us ends with two beautiful things. It says that the Jewish people emerged from the non-Jewish people, right? Yisrael mi'umot olam, and it ends with these beautiful words, Olam haba min olam hazeh. The next world will emerge from this world. So I believe that the Midrash is saying that the real message here of Paraduma is that the same God who decreed that a red heifer can purify the impure, that same God will make it happen that the world to come can emerge from this shallow, violent, exploitive world that we live in now. If you want hope for what can be, even though it seems a conundrum at the level of the Paraduma, that a perfect harmonious world will ever come, have faith, because the same God who made all these things happen and the Paraduma happen and decreed that the Paraduma will be, he has also decreed that the next world will emerge from this immensely flawed world. So it ends with a great message of hope. Have a great Shabbos.